come undisputed and things like that, but once you got it, you like, basically like, what the hell? And that's, you can see with Floyd too. Floyd really was like that too. He really like.
Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach are getting ready for their lightweight title fight on March 1st. But during their media appearances, they had an unexpected guest show up.
1, 2, 3. Good stuff. Come on, real quick.
Before their fight, Tank Davis and Lamont Roach, along with their teams, gathered for some media and promotional work. But things took an unexpected turn when Floyd Mayweather showed up uninvited, causing a disruption. Tank was prepared for the confrontation, and tensions quickly escalated into a heated brawl between the two. Despite efforts from those around them to separate them, Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather managed to get a few hits in, with Floyd getting the last word by shoving Tank. This was the first time they'd faced off since their fight last April. The drama started when Floyd Mayweather appeared on Fight Hype and criticized fighters who were more focused on luxury than improving their skills. Things heated up when Floyd went after Shakur Stevenson, made false claims about Gervonta Davis's fight, and took jabs at the Baltimore champion.
Those are lifetime losses. And you know, as long as you know you went out there and gave it 100% in that square circle, if you know you gave it 100% and you happy with what you did when you went out there, then that's what it is.
The worst part was how Floyd Mayweather didn't just take sides against Davis after his last fight, but also acted in a way that was surprising for a boxing legend. He seemed so focused on Tank's loss that his Instagram post about the fight being canceled wasn't enough. Floyd even called a fight that was clearly an easy win for Davis a 50-50 match and gave Frank Martin tips on how to beat him. It's unclear whether those tips fell on deaf ears or just weren't enough, but on fight night, Frank Martin, who looked strong in the early rounds, ultimately came up short. In the 8th round, just 1 minute and 49 seconds in, a devastating blow from Gervonta Davis sent Martin crashing to the canvas, giving Davis his 30th career win. But that wasn't even the biggest issue. The real problem was Floyd Mayweather's involvement, as he and Tank Davis had been at odds, creating one of the most dramatic mentor versus protege feuds in recent boxing history. Frank Martin revealed in one of his pre-fight interviews that Floyd had played a role in his preparation for the fight, hoping to get back at Gervonta Davis for disrespecting him.
These guys, so what was being around talking to Floyd? Like, what has Floyd taught you about fighting? And has it made you a better fighter? Because he could tell me all day to do that shit he does.
It shocked both boxing fans and professionals when Frank Martin, also known as the Ghost, revealed he'd been getting advice from Gervonta Davis's former mentor and promoter, Floyd Mayweather. The two lightweight fighters faced off in the ring at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas on June 15th, with Gervonta Tank Davis successfully defending his World Boxing Association title.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what does being around a guy like Floyd do for you?
He could tell you, go run at 2 in the morning. You know, go do it when,
As expected, there was plenty of trash talk between the two leading up to the fight. Tank Davis was the heavy favorite going in, but ahead of the match, Frank Martin, the challenger, appeared on the Pivot podcast on YouTube. There, he revealed the Mike Tyson-like advice Floyd Money Mayweather had been giving him to gain the upper hand against Gervonta Davis.
I've always been there for him from day one. We had a game plan, and my game plan was to help him become world champion.
Frank Martin admitted that receiving advice from Floyd Mayweather gave him a unique feeling, and as a result, Floyd has lashed out at those criticizing him. He said, "I do what I want to do and support whoever I feel. How's there a crime in that? What's wrong with Frank meeting me for advice? If Tank comes, I'd advise him too. So what's the problem you all have with me?" Despite their split and past differences, Mayweather had always been in Davis's corner, and Davis had generally respected the former world champion. However, with the Davis-Martin fight, it was clear that alliances had shifted.
Champion and take things to that next level. And I've always been there for him. And just over the years, you can see I've always been positive, always said great things about him, always pushed him to be great.
This shift in alliances became even clearer after the highly publicized online clash between Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather last month. When asked if Frank Martin had learned anything from Mayweather ahead of the fight, Martin responded with a revealing statement. He could tell you, man, go run it too hot in the morning because 9 times out of 10,
your opponent sleep at that time. So go run at 2 in the morning and go give yourself a mental edge, you know, like, cause you know you out there working every night at 2 in the morning running.
You're going to take a lot of heat for it, but it's going to give you a different kind of motivation when you do it, said Martin. He added that even if a boxer can't perfectly replicate what Floyd shows them, it still gives them a unique feeling about themselves. Interestingly, this is similar to what Mike Tyson used to do before his fights to gain a mental edge. Tyson, the youngest heavyweight champion and later an undisputed champion, would run at 3 a.m. and chop wood, among other things, to get ahead of his opponents. However, despite Tyson's training rituals and Floyd's advice, nothing could stop Gervonta Davis on fight night. Davis, who had come off a year-long layoff due to a hit-and-run case in 2022 and a 90-day stint in a Baltimore prison, emerged victorious with an 8th-round knockout.
Claims on X that your fight was canceled the last couple of weeks.
He's the one told Frank that I was running at 5 o'clock.
The gap in Gervonta Davis's resume didn't affect his skills in the ring. He defeated Ryan Garcia in April of last year and followed it up with a similar result against Frank Martin. In fact, leading up to the fight with Martin, Floyd Mayweather urged his fans to watch UFC instead after the two exchanged shots on social media. Famous boxing reporter Michael Benson shared the details.
Friday, he told Frank that he was giving Frank the tip on this stuff.
Really? How'd you know that? Is this word alone?
I said
the feud between Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis continued to escalate, with Mayweather trolling Tank by posting that the Frank and Martin fight had been canceled. Tank responded saying, "Keep talking and I'll pull up to your house and lay hands on you." Davis went on to knock out Martin in brutal fashion on Saturday. After the fight, Davis revealed in an interview that Mayweather had been giving his opponent tips on how to beat him. He was giving Frank tips and stuff like that, but I know for sure that wasn't gonna be enough to beat me. It's cool. It's alright. I don't really think too much of it. He's not gonna hurt me. You know what I mean? It's better to beef with him than to be cool with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they were like spying her, kind of?
No. You gotta.
Gervonta Davis shared that it was actually Floyd Mayweather who told Frank Martin that he was running at 5 a.m. At one point, Davis had expressed his willingness to settle things with Mayweather in the ring, even mentioning his name alongside his contemporaries. Speaking to Davis Naji from Cigar Talk, the topic of a potential fight with Mayweather came up, prompting a strong response from the Baltimore native. "A lot of people don't know what Floyd does. He was going at me, and I knew for sure he was going at me. That's why I went to him. There's no reason for me to go at Floyd," Davis said, referring to Mayweather's comment, which he believed was directed at him.
Oh, okay.
If I knew for sure that wasn't on me.
When Naji pointed out that
the relationship between Davis and Floyd Mayweather seemed like a love-hate dynamic over the years, Davis completely denied it, insisting he had surpassed Mayweather's legacy. "I'm about at that point where I have passed him, and I'm doing it at a young age," said Tank, but Davis wasn't done making his point. He went on to reveal that he had signed a new deal, noting that Mayweather's Showtime deal in 2013 was worth $200 million. "That deal I'm talking about, he doesn't know about that yet. That's bigger than his deal," said the lightweight champion. However, Davis didn't disclose the exact amount of the massive deal he signed with PBC.
Care to elaborate on that?
Out of the sport.
After our second fight. Nah, no, I'm gonna win, bro.
Nah, I could tell you my fights.
As a result, many fans were expecting Davis to announce a plan for a more active 2025, with more fights and major events. under his GTD promotions. However, everything took a surprising turn when the announcement turned out to be his retirement. Now Davis, 30, will face Roach Jr., 29, on March 1st, defending his World Boxing Association title for the second time.
For the sport? How many times do you want to get in the ring next year if it was your choice? 3 times. 3? So 3 fights for sure. All your time,
Fans were hoping Davis would continue the momentum he gained from his June win over Frank Martin. Instead, he gave them an ultimatum, declaring that he's on his last run in boxing, which will end in 2025. After next year, I'm out of the sport, he said. But why is Tank ready to retire at just 30? What about the fans and his ambition? To entertain them? It seems Davis is growing tired of it all. He shared his honest thoughts about his retirement decision during an interview with Fight Hub TV.
Fight Tank Baltimore. How about a homecoming fight? No.
You lost the love?
The 30-0 record holder admitted he had lost interest in the sport and had grown weary of it, calling it trash and garbage. Fed up with the whole sport, he said. These comments were sure to upset many fans, especially those who had pushed him to take on tougher opponents and fight the best in the division. However, Davis found comfort in making strategic decisions, earning money, and doing what he loves most, knocking out opponents.
Looked like you were like, talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what
The question remains, how will fans remember the Baltimore native and how will they judge his legacy? Davis addressed this when speaking with Fight Hype. When asked if he considered himself among the greatest, the World Boxing Association champion responded, "I don't even care about that, bro. I don't even care about that. Where I'm from, bro, I will forever be the greatest. I'll be a forever G to myself." While fans only have a year to enjoy Davis's explosive boxing and backflips in the ring, it doesn't necessarily mean his fight with Roach Jr. will be his last.
Next fights, can we know who they are?
probably the Ryan. Hopefully.
Davis could potentially fit in a couple more fights in 2025 before retiring from his pro career. What's more, the lightweight champion is still under a multi-fight contract with PBC, which reportedly includes a clause to fight Shakur Stevenson. What will happen to his contractual obligations now is uncertain. It remains to be seen how things will play out and whether Davis is truly committed to his retirement plan.
What have Shakur done? What have he done in the sport? He haven't done nothing. The young one is looking.
Davis is set to return to action at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn this March, defending his World Boxing Association lightweight title against current super featherweight champion Lamont Roach. During the press conference for the launch, Tank revealed his plan to retire at the end of 2025 and named 3 fighters he wants to face before hanging up the gloves. The first of those will be Roach in March, and he told Fight Hub TV that his first pick for the other 2 opponents is likely Ryan Garcia.
Who that? The Keyshawn. Keyshawn looking way more better than this. So I keep screaming his name, he haven't done nothing. Keyshawn haven't even done.
Davis faced Garcia in April 2023, dropping his opponent twice on his way to a 7th round knockout, handing Garcia his first professional loss. Garcia is currently serving a 1-year ban after failing a drug test for his fight with Devin Haney, but will be eligible to return in April 2025, possibly setting up a summer showdown with Davis. Tank also revealed he'd like to take on Teofimo Lopez before retiring, saying, "Yeah, I do, Teo. I'll slap the hell out of him when I see him."
I keep saying his name for.
So what do you say to those who might be saying that, Tank is afraid of Shakur?
Afraid of what?
Lopez, the reigning WBO super lightweight champion, claimed the title from Josh Taylor in June 2023 and has since defended it twice. The potential clash between Davis and Lopez has long been a hot topic among boxing fans, with many eager to see how the two would match up in the ring. As for Davis, he's now focused on his upcoming fight against Lamont Roach. Ahead of the showdown, Davis held a press conference to formally announce the fight, setting the stage for what promises to be an exciting event on March 1st. During the press conference, Roach had the opportunity to speak first, offering his thoughts on the match and what fans can expect from him in the ring.
How much you want to bet? Because I came up here alone. How much y'all want to bet? How much you want to bet? Just call it out. Huh? 100? That's a bet.
Lamont Roach's words reflected his confidence as he looked ahead to his showdown with Davis on March 1st. Roach acknowledged the high stakes and expressed that he wasn't focused on the trash talk surrounding the fight, but instead was fully preparing to make the most of the opportunity. He mentioned that people doubted the fight, but he saw it as a chance to prove himself, comparing himself to a dog ready to face Davis in the ring. When Davis took the stage, he had his chance to respond and address the hype surrounding this fight. As always, Tank's response would undoubtedly be measured, showcasing his confidence and readiness for the battle. The stage was set for what would surely be a highly anticipated fight, with both fighters ready to deliver.
For you, in your next fight?
He has skills. Even though he's at a smaller weight class, I feel as though Lamont have, and he's one of the guys that...
Tank's response reflects a level of respect for Roach as a skilled competitor, despite him being from a smaller weight class. Davis highlighted the fact that Roach is a fighter who has been around for a long time and has consistently performed at a high level in the sport. He acknowledged that while many of the fighters he came up with are no longer relevant in the picture, Roach has continued to impress, and Davis views him as a legitimate challenge. His comments also shed light on the logic behind choosing Roach as his next opponent, especially after a potential fight with Lomachenko didn't come to fruition. Tank sees Roach as a worthy and capable opponent, ready to prove himself on the big stage. The matchup with Roach was not just about the namesake, but also about testing himself against someone who has the skills to bring a challenge.
I actually started with, came out with in the sport of boxing. Actually, still doing well. Everybody that's started with us.
Roach confidently laid out his belief that his versatile skill set sets him apart from others Davis has faced, emphasizing his adaptability and mental toughness. His claim to be able to fight any style and bring out all the tricks in his arsenal shows that he's prepared to give Tank a unique challenge, one that might not be as straightforward as previous opponents. As for Tank, his comments regarding his potential early exit from the sport left fans wondering about his future. After a period of relative quiet and his legal troubles behind him, expectations were high for Davis to take on a more active schedule, but those hopes were tempered by his reluctance to continue the grind of boxing. The announcement of his fight with Lamont Roach could be one of the last opportunities for fans to see the dynamic knockout artist in action before he calls it quits. Tank's comments during the press conference made it clear that he's uncertain about his long-term plans in the sport, leaving fans on edge about what comes next.
Martin press conference, it looked like you were the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously
Davis's announcement that 2025 could be his final year in boxing has definitely shaken the boxing community, as fans had hoped for more action from him before he steps away from the sport. His candidness about potentially retiring after next year left a mixed reaction. Disappointment from fans who still want to see more of his explosive talent in the ring. However, Davis's statement shows he's set on his decision, and the clock is ticking on his remaining time in the sport. For now, fans are left eagerly anticipating his showdown with Lamont Roach in March 2025, which may be one of the last opportunities to see Davis do what he does best. Stay connected for more updates, and as always, thanks for following us for the latest in boxing.